Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Megyn Kelly, and we begin today with a remarkable update on a story we brought you 2 weeks ago. We introduced you then to Kent Whitaker, a father who made it his life's mission to have his son's death sentence commuted to life in prison. What made Kent's story so incredible is that his son, Bart, is in prison for orchestrating the murders of Kent's own wife and other son. Kent was also himself gravely injured in that attack. However, lying in his hospital bed, recovering from those gunshot wounds, Kent turned to his Christian faith and vowed in the moment to forgive whoever had killed his family. Months later, he would learn the awful truth about who it was. Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles was asked. Kent begged them to spare his son Bart's life, arguing that as the only surviving victim, he, Kent, would be victimized yet again by having his only surviving relative taken from him. On Tuesday, in a rare move, the board unanimously voted to recommend a lesser sentence, but the final decision would be made by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who all day long said nothing yesterday. Then, less than an hour before Bart was scheduled to be put to death by lethal injection, word came that Governor Abbott had commuted Bart's sentence to life in prison. Oh my God. The first death sentence Governor Abbott has ever overturned. In his 3 years in office, 30 times he's been asked, 30 times he said no. This was the one case he made an exception for. The father, Kent, spoke out just after learning the news.
I want to thank all of the people who have, over the world, literally, who have prayed for this. I believe that God's hand was on this. I think it'd be hard to explain a 7-0 vote in the parole board without having some serious whispers from God into ears. And I thank all of those prayers for that.
And we are joined now by Kent Whitaker and his wife, Tanya, in a Megyn Kelly Today exclusive. Welcome to you both. I'm so happy for you, Kent. I'm so happy for you, and you too, Tanya.
Oh, thank you, Megyn.
Your reaction to this news?
Yesterday was, people use the term bizarre, but that was really what it was. I've never seen anything quite like it. We started the day not knowing what was going to happen, believing that Governor Greg Abbott would commute the sentence, but not knowing. We drove to the prison for our what could have been our last visit, 2-hour visit, Tanya and I, and we started the visit kind of upbeat, expecting there to be a notification at any moment, but nothing came. And as the visit wore on, it became more and more obvious that one wasn't going to come. And so by the time that the visit ended at noon, we were aware that this may very well be our last opportunity to see each other. It was extremely sad. We touched the glass with our hands and said goodbye, and then we left and drove to Huntsville, where the execution would take place. And he was taken by a 5-car parade to Huntsville to be prepared for the execution.
And at that point, Kent, you were fully preparing, as you told me here 2 weeks ago, yes, to sit and bear witness to your son's execution by lethal injection.
Yes, we were. We went to a home, really, that one of the churches in the neighborhood, or in the city, prepares for families of men who will be put to death. And we were there for 3 hours, and there was a preparation for what was going to happen there in the death chamber, an orientation of sorts. We were able to talk to Bart over the phone for a while. And Tanya, you want to tell what that last phone call was like? It was
so painful. They cut the phone off at 5 o'clock, and so the time's ticking away. No word. It's so silent in there. And finally, about 4:55, we said, okay, well, we're going to say goodbye now. We told him how much we love him, how much God loves him, and that we were continuing to pray up until the minute. But at 5 o'clock, they cut it off, and then they take you over near the death chamber to be prepared from the orientation.
Oh, my God. So where were you when you got the news that Governor Abbott had indeed issued the commutation?
I had always, from the very beginning, planned to be in the observation room for my son, so he would know that somebody loved him and cared and acknowledged that he was there. Over the past several months, I've had so many people who've witnessed these tell me over and over again, you shouldn't be there. You do not want this to be your last memory of your son. And all along, I expected to be there. But yesterday afternoon, Tanya convinced me that it would be best if I stayed in the hospitality house and that she would represent us. And she would go over there and advocate for him if necessary.
So how did you get the news, Ken?
I agreed to I got the news by phone. We were praying. There were about a dozen of us there. Tanya was not there. She was over at the prison. And Keith Hampton, our attorney, phoned and told me that the sentence had been commuted. And so I put the phone on speaker and I held it up and said, Keith, would you repeat that? And when he did, the whole room just burst into cheers and huge relief, huge relief. And there was another celebration when Tanya and another lady who had gone over to witness the execution returned to the house, and it was an amazing celebration. It was a vindication of a lot of hard work on a lot of people's part.
And the last time you were here, you told me you had, after Bart had been found guilty, you got down on your knees and begged the prosecutor not to push for the death penalty. You, as the only surviving victim, we should point out that your deceased wife's family, that Trish's family, also did not want to see him executed. So Texas is a victims' rights state, and they're supposed to defer, if you will, or at least heavily consider what the victims want. In this case, the victims did not want execution. Nonetheless, the DA pushed for it. Have you gotten the chance to speak with Bart yet?
Not since the commutation came down. We won't get a chance to for a while. We don't know how long that will take because he's going to be reprocessed and sent to a different unit. And so we are waiting to find out if he really wants, when that will happen.
We have a statement from Bart that was issued to the prison officials, and this is what he said. I'm thankful for the decision, not for me, but for my dad. Whatever punishment I might have received or will receive will be just. I deserve punishment for my crimes, but my dad did nothing wrong. The system worked for him today, and I will do my best to uphold my end of the bargain. What do you want to say, Kent, to Bart?
I think this is a day of great hope. He's been given a second chance on life, and I believe with all my heart that he's going to take that and use it. And when we meet again sometime in the future, we will be able to share with you some of the things that he's accomplished in general population that have been a great benefit to others behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about it.
He hasn't hurt other people behind bars. He was not a career criminal at all prior to this murder, which we talked about when Kent was here live, that his son had fallen into mental illness, that he had made a terrible choice, that he felt conflicted about the man people thought he was versus what he really felt he was in his mind, that he couldn't bear the dichotomy between those two things. I want to tell the audience that Governor Abbott, in his statement, said this is the first time he's commuted a death sentence and followed the unanimous ruling of the Texas Parole Board, which, frankly, almost never recommends commutations.
It never
It never has,
has.
right.
Has.
So he was also following Kent's wishes. However, Bart will give up any chance at parole.
Yes.
The governor went on to say that Mr. Whitaker's father, meaning Kent, who survived the attempt on his life, passionately opposes the execution of his son. Mr. Whitaker's father insists he would be victimized again if the state put to death his last remaining immediately family member. Your feelings about Governor Abbott today, Kent?
I'm very grateful to both him and the parole board. You know, they both are very strong law and order. The whole board is made up of policemen. And Greg Abbott was our attorney general for as well as other things. And he is a law and order guy, but he recognized that in this case, that the commutation was the proper thing to do. We're very grateful to him for making that hard decision. I think it's important to realize that the parole board looks at what happens after the trial. This doesn't diminish the trial or the jurors in any way. What they looked at was 11 years that have transpired since the verdict came down, and recognized that there was overwhelming evidence that this man had changed, and that there was the right thing to do was to commute the death sentence, and quite frankly also to honor my victims' rights.
Kent, in a word, what you're feeling today?
I'm feeling a great sense of relief and hope. This is a very hopeful day, I think. I know that Bart's going to take advantage of this and use it for positive good.
It's a strange thing to say that you feel happy for someone who's being told his son will spend the rest of his life in prison, but given the alternative, this was the best result you could have hoped for. You've been through so much already, and so my heart goes out to you, Kent, and to you, Tanya, as well. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you, Megyn. It was a great blessing to be able to be on your show and share this again with your family.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. What an update.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.